Yo. Analytics off the chain, other channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. I'm a headliner.
What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake and the Doc coming at you today because you know what? We want to have some fun. Everybody and their mother's talking about Joe Burrow right now, and we didn't want to miss out. So we had to make something quick here about Joe Burrow. How? Because Ethan has a theory. And when he shared the theory with me, I kind of started thinking like, damn, that sounds pretty legit. Let's share this with the people and see what they think down below in the comment section. So if you're looking forward to having some fun here and sharing a theory here with the Doc, hit that like button and leave a comment down below. But Ethan, I'm going to kind of turn the floor over to you here because you're the man whose brain thought this way. Not everybody's brain thinks this way. This is why you're here.
That's right, Jake. That's right. I've had this theory about Joe Burrow for a while. And as he continues to just surprise everyone with his play and now leading the Bengals to a Super Bowl, I felt like now was the best time to bust out this theory as to how we got here with Joe Burrow. How did this happen? Because the Joe Burrow story, Jake, is not one that I would consider traditional in sports. I think it could have a movie about it someday down the road. If he wins a Super Bowl, definitely. But here's the theory that I have about Joe Burrow.
Hit us with it, big guy. Hit us with it.
Let me hit you with this, Jake. Okay. See if I'm crazy. We're going to take you back to Ohio State. That's a big topic of debate right now. If you don't remember, Urban Meyer was the head coach at Ohio State. Back in 2015, Joe Burrow came on four-star prospect. Okay. He was not a scrub and he's from Ohio. So this was like a total slam dunk recruitment by Urban Meyer. Now, the problem is that in 2015, Urban Meyer had two quarterbacks that were competing for basically the QB1 role at Ohio State. He had Cardell Jones, who everyone ended up loving and was a total bust. And he also had JT Barrett, who was a decent college quarterback in his own right. So Joe Burrow comes in red shirts in 2015. Okay. They end up winning a national championship. So nobody is upset that this guy that's just, coming off, nobody is looking at Joe Burrow at this point, 2015. Okay. 2016, Cardell Jones is gone. Okay. So it's just JT Barrett and Joe Burrow. All right. Joe Burrow, what happened is that Joe Burrow got shafted because Urban Meyer has come out and told us that after the quarterback controversy of 2015 on who would start, because if you remember, and I know we're going way back in the time machine here.
I don't remember yesterday. But
Cardell Jones and JT Barrett kind of went back and forth on who would play. They kind of split the quarterback role the whole year, and it was kind of a sore subject for Ohio State the whole time because you didn't really know who was going to play when and who was actually the starter. And so what happened was Urban Meyer said, okay, we don't want a quarterback debate. JT Barrett's the guy and Joe Burrow is going to sit on the bench. And he had made that up in his mind after they won that championship in 2015. So Joe Burrow never had a chance to start or even compete with JT Barrett to start in 2016. At the same time, and Urban Meyer has admitted this, he was scouting what he called the best high school thrower that he had ever recruited, Dwayne Haskins. So here comes 2017. Now, this is the year that everyone says, okay, Joe Burrow should have been starting by now. Okay, he's competing with Dwayne Haskins, who's basically redshirted, and JT Barrett again. But remember that Urban Meyer does not want a quarterback controversy at Ohio State. He just wants to win. So JT Barrett starts again. Dwayne Haskins, who Meyer admits he had a strong affection for, ends up being the QB2 on the team. Joe Burrow stuck on the depth chart. The problem is that Joe Burrow never got a chance to actually compete in 2017 either, because in 2017, late in August camp, Joe Burrow broke his hand. And this is where I bring up that not enough people are talking about this aspect of it. But if you break your hand and miss this first month of the season, you're probably not going to win the starting quarterback job at a program like Ohio State. There's almost no chance that you're going to compete anymore against a guy who has already helped lead them to a national title, was a 3-year starter at this point, and the guy who the head coach has scouted for the last 3 years and believes is like a true NFL quality guy. So Joe Burrow breaks his hand. That's how he ends up as the QB3 on Ohio State in 2017. Nobody talks about that. And the reason I don't talk about it is because most people don't know he broke his hand, which brings up my point of the injury histories for these guys can really paint a different story on their legacies. Okay. I believe, this is the theory, that if Joe Burrow had not broken his hand in training camp prior to the 2017 season, he would have never opted to leave Ohio State. He would have just stayed and competed with Dwayne Haskins for the starting job, first the backup job, and possibly could have beaten Dwayne Haskins in the starting job for 2018. Now, don't get me wrong, Dwayne Haskins threw 50 touchdowns in 2018. So I'm not saying that it wouldn't have been a close competition, but reports from that spring in 2018 said that basically these two guys were neck and neck. And the coach did not want to make a decision. He didn't want to have another Cardale Jones, JT Barrett conversation back and forth. And so what did Joe Burrow do? He went out, graduated, and got his undergrad degree in 3 years, which primed him to have 2 years of eligibility and immediate eligibility because he had his undergrad degree in 3 years. Joe Burrow knew that something was up. He knew he was good enough to be a starting college quarterback at a big program. So he went out, put in the work, total man child. We know this now that he's a freak. Put in the work, got his undergrad degree, transfers to LSU. But I truly believe, had he not broken his hand, that he would have potentially beaten Dwayne Haskins for the job at Ohio State in 2018, would have never transferred, would have never ended up on the team with the two best rookie wide receivers in the NFL that we've ever seen, two best seasons, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, would not have ended up at LSU, would not have been the Joe Burrow smoking cigars, winning national championships at LSU. He would not have been drafted at number 1 overall, would not have gone to the Bengals. They would, well, they didn't protect him his first year, but they would not have ended up in the Super Bowl in just his second year as an NFL quarterback. None of this would have happened had he not broken his hand at the end of training camp in 2017. That's my theory. I know it's a hot take, but I think Joe Burrow got shafted at Ohio State. I don't think enough people are talking about the fact that his competition was skewed by an injury, which just leads me to my final point. And I know people are going to hate this, but like, if you know what a player's injury history looked like in college, you can scout them better. You can kind of put together pieces. Why did this guy not break out until his 3rd year in college? Oh, it's because he had a major injury his freshman year. Why did this guy underperform in college? And why is he getting all this hype now? Oh, it's because he was dealing with multiple ankle sprains as the season went on. That's why I do the injury histories for these college players when they come into the NFL, because I want to fill in the gaps that other sites, other scouts, other people that are talking about these college prospects coming into the NFL, which we're about to get to that part of the year. I want to fill in the gap for those situations. And to me, Joe Burrow is a perfect example of, if you know his injury history, his story makes a lot more sense. That was my theory. Thank you for listening. Do you have any questions?
I mean, it makes total sense. And it's kind of crazy to think about how an injury could have potentially led him down the path that he's at now. And that path is way brighter than what it could have been at Ohio State. I mean, everybody makes fun of Ohio State all the time because their quarterbacks just don't transition to the NFL very well. Would that have been Joe Burrow? We never know, right? But it's just crazy to know that the situation that he was in, it took an injury for him to transfer, to get the job in LSU, become a Heisman Trophy winner, win a national title, now end up in the Super Bowl, and to all think that maybe could never have happened had he not broken his hand in college. It's an interesting point, and a lot of people are going to look at it a little bit differently and be like, Okay, maybe that's true, maybe that's not true. I mean, it's all speculation, but it's just to kind of prove your point here at the end. When you look at, certain individuals, when you look at prospects, you need to make sure that you look at the entire picture. Everybody's looking for the hot take. Everybody's trying to one up everybody else. It's a very crowded space, whether you're on social media, YouTube, whatever it is. But as long as you can present all the information, it makes it a little bit easier for people to come to their own conclusions because they're not having to guess at a lot of things. And that's why we do what we do here, is just to kind of unroll the red carpet and just give you all the information so that when you're making those decisions, you have all the information you need. So I love the theory. I love the way that you kind of incorporated the injury history into it and just showed how it can make such a huge difference. So I'm all on board. I loved hearing it. That's why I want to make sure I shared it with everybody. If you enjoyed it, do us a favor for the doc taking time from his busy schedule to share his theory with you. Hit that like button down below. And if you like information like this, something to kind of give you a little bit extra there on top of the cake, a little extra frosting, that's what this is all about. So hit that subscribe button down below. And we would love to hang out with you guys here all off season long, all regular season long, to make sure that you can be successful in all things fantasy football. And plus, hopefully be a little bit entertained along the way. So Ethan, I appreciate you sharing your theory. I don't think anybody's going to think that you're crazy or anything. If people want to think that you're crazy down in the comment section and act like an idiot, it's really easy to block people. It's like 2 clicks of a mouse.
Hey man, if you have a better theory than that, please hit me up.
Yeah.
I've been curious about how this all happened, just like everyone else. I know that all of the facts that I spit right there are true. You can go find the Urban Meyer interviews where he talks about Dwayne Haskins, where he talks about the quarterback situation, where he talks about how basically he was the golden child from the time he was in high school. And if you're wondering, and if you're like a lot of people are right now, how the heck did Joe Burrow, a kid from Ohio, a 4-star recruit, not end up playing for Ohio State and being successful the way that he was at LSU? I'm just trying to fill that in. I'm just trying to fill that in. I'm just trying to fill it in for you.
Fill in the gaps. If you think you got a better theory, leave it down below in the comment section. We'll be glad to hear it and talk back and forth. That's what makes this fun, is being really interactive and talking with you guys down below in the comment section. So hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day, a great week here this week, and we'll be talking to you later. Have a good one.